West Ham have got a former Chelsea manager who you know quite a bit about. Where do you think it's gonna happen with West Ham next season? Do you like the fact Potter's at West Ham? Do you think he could do a good job there with your experience of him as Chelsea manager?
I think Graham Potter is like one of the most Marmite managers ever at Chelsea. Some fans can't stand the guy. I think he was nowhere near the level. I was a bit different. I felt very sorry for him because he came to Chelsea at a time when no one knew what the hell was going on. There was no real direction. We didn't even have the directors. We were still building the club as we brought Graham Potter in, who didn't have a pre-season to work with no one. I think he is a good manager, but I feel like he's going to West Ham. I feel like he did a lot of things to try and get you guys from like sinking even faster, like what Lopetegui had you guys in that direction. I don't know how you're looking to kind of like strengthen the team. I think this Malik guy you signed is like a top left back, actually. I know like a lot of clubs was looking at this guy, got a lot of promise around him, but then you're losing someone like Kudus. But now it opens up more possibilities to buy people now and spend right. So I don't know. I feel like West Ham will be all right, but it's just going to be kind of like a mid-table thing, to be honest.
I'm confused with this whole Kudus thing because I thought you needed to sell him to pay back this loan. What, are you going to have money now? Is that the situation?
I think it was all nonsense, to be honest with you. I still think it's all nonsense anyway. I just don't think the owner wants to invest the money. They could have put 90 million quid in and decided not to. So they just wanted to sell him to get him out of the club, to get the money. I do think like we've been linked for a few players. We've got Dioufim. He does look like a good player. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that he's going to be the best thing since sliced bread because I don't know about the geezer. I haven't watched Slavia Prague play in many a moon. So I'm not going to sit there and say, yeah, he's going to be this, he's going to be that. But I also will say this, is that our problem last season was the midfield. Midfield was awful. I'm going to tell you this now. Alvarez has just had the tournament of his life over in the Gold Cup and he wants to stay with us. Yeah, he's going to be a big player for us next season because they need to step. We got players in that team last season that need to step up. People like Kilman, who are a very good player, need to step up. Tadibo needs to step up. You know, Wan-Bissaka I think was brilliant. If we got the good left back, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
Alvarez for Mexico played centre back. Maybe that's a place where Potter can play him. I think Potter needs that pre-season to embed what he wants in now. And if we can get a couple of the players that we've been linked with Lookman. I don't think that'll happen. I don't think
that's ambitious. That's ambitious.
Yeah, that's ambitious.
Yeah,
I think I do think it's, with everyone said that about Kudus, but we got that over the line. So if you don't ask, you don't get, right? But what I would take, and I think we would have got the better deal out of Spurs if this happens, is if we got Douglas Luiz and got Harvey Elliott on loan. I think that
because you need a midfield, innit? That's what you guys need desperately right now.
Yeah. But I think if you stick Alvarez in because Potter likes to play five at the back.
Yeah.
Alvarez is just at the tournament. He's like player of the tournament, playing centre back.
Yeah. No, he's a good DM.
He's a monster, right? If you can get Souček working with someone like Douglas Luiz, if we keep Paquetá, even if we don't, we'll find someone to go in there. Harvey Elliott could go in there. You've got Somerville on the left. You've got Bowen on the right. We've got Fulkrug up top at the minute. We ain't got another forward. Antonio looks like he may sign on. We've always got to rely on Antonio. Antonio will leave me at West Ham, I think, if he signs a new contract. But, it isn't as bad an 11 as you would say. I think with Douglas Luiz in there, you need a cog in there. And that's what we didn't have last season. You look at the distance between the midfield and the forwards at times. Yeah. It was miles. It was
but Nicky, in terms of Potter, is he on notice next season for you? Like, because as much as Lopetegui was a disaster, it didn't exactly improve when Potter came in, did it?
I don't think he's on notice because I think everyone's looking at what he's working with, and he's working with a limited budget. I don't know. He's working with limited funds. He hasn't got what Lopetegui had last season, which was a load of money to spend. So I don't think he's on notice. There's a lot of fans that are unhappy with him anyway, which I find very, very odd. He came into a bit of a shit show and they say, well, Lopetegui got more games out of him. Yeah, Lopetegui also had the money to spend and he also had a pre-season with them. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of coming straight in and wanting to turn it around, I think he done what he needed to do. I think he had a look around at the players he had. I think he knew there was a couple there that needed to move on. I think he knew that there was a couple there that were going to move on regardless. Yeah. So now it gives him a chance to bring his own players in. You got to give the man a chance to bring his own players in and give him a season. Listen, we're not expectant like Arsenal or Chelsea or even Tottenham. We don't expect them to go and challenge the top 5 and all that. We expect to have a decent season. That's it. Maybe have a little cup run somewhere along the line. Yeah, no one's going to think that Potter's going to be pulling up any trees right now. But if he can get what he had at Brighton going at West Ham, which is, it could be a very similar project. We've got a couple of youngsters coming back as well. We've got a lot of highly touted youngsters. Young Freddie Potts, watch out for him.
Yeah.
Young Ollie Scholes, watch out for him. Young George Murphy, watch out for him. But I'm just saying, if he can embed some of them in, which he did last season with Scholes, I think we could have a better season than people think we would have. And I think you've got to at least give him a chance. But there's no point, because we done this to David Moyes, yeah? And David Moyes went on to win us a trophy in his second stint. But the first stint, he come over, he took over from Pellegrini, he stunk the place out. People going, fuck him, I don't want him. Fuck him. He is useless and all that. He come back for a second stint and everyone was going, oh, not this geezer again. And we went on to play some of the best football we've ever played. So you cannot just judge a man coming in, taking hold of a squad that is all over the shop. Yeah. You don't know whether some of them are coming or some of them are going, and expect him to then pull up trees with it. Give the man a chance to embed his own style, give him a chance to embed his own philosophy, give him a chance to develop his own project, and then we'll see where he is. I'm not expecting, but some West Ham fans, unfortunately, are not as intelligent as me.
That's what I'm saying, Mickey, though. But it wasn't so long ago, people were saying, wow, look at this transfer window West Ham are going. Look at the quality of play that they're bringing in. Winning Conference League. The year before that, semi-final of the Europa League. Surely there's an expectancy within West Ham to get European football again.
No, I don't think there's an expectancy, because there's so much competition. But for me, I would never expect West Ham to do well under this ownership. I don't think he's got it in him. That Conference League win come despite of him. He's got no ambition to get us competing with anyone. So
do you think that's a bit harsh? Like last summer, right? Obviously, getting in Somerville, that was a big coup. Getting him from Leeds, you back Lopetegui. I know maybe the mistake was from a management perspective. Lopetegui should have had no say in transfers, because he really.
Codiba was a great coup. Juve wanted him.
Rodriguez, you know what I mean? Just all these slow players that ruined what West Ham were trying to build from. He didn't improve upon nothing.
What's the point? What's the point in building a Ferrari or a Formula One car and then letting Mr. Blobby drive it? There's no point.
But I think that's what hurt West Ham more from my perspective, compared to them lacking the ambition. Because the thing is, you win the Conference League, you're now able to attract a higher caliber of player because you got Europe. But that's when it's always risky, because now you're kind of floating on the red line, but you're offering more money to attract these guys. And if you don't maintain it,
I don't think the guy knows what it takes to do it, because he installed all of these things, but there's always a piece missing, So he'll install the money, and say, there's the money, right? There's your director of football, Tim Steinert, who can go out and get you the likes of Kudus and Paquetá and all of that sort of thing. There's him. Oh, and there's Noel Edmonds to be your manager. There you go. Go get on with that. Oh, what? No, Edmonds didn't work. Okay, right. So what we'll do is we'll bring in Graham Potter. We'll take away the director of football, and I'll start doing that again. And then now we're going to give you no money. So let's see if there's never going to be the trio under him. You know what I mean? He's always going to do something wrong. He does not know how to do it. And what he does, he instills these things. He does these things under pressure. He's done this twice now. David Sullivan. David Sullivan is a car boot salesman at best. At best, So he likes to get players for cheap and sell them for a profit, And I think that's what makes him tick. I think that's what gets him off. Is that sort of thing, So what he does is he'll start doing that. The West Ham fans go, hold on a fucking minute. We're meant to be competing. We come to this stadium. He told us we was going competing and we're going to be buying players. We're signing players on free and selling them on for a small profit. Where's these players? So then he'll instill some money. Then he'll put in a director of football, and then, as I said, he'll put Mr. Blobby in charge and turn around and go, "Oh, well, that didn't work, so we'll have to go back to what we was doing." It's just nonsense. It's just bollocks, and it keeps on going round and round and round and round in circles. The guy does not know what he's doing. He does not know how to run a football club. All he's good for is selling butt plugs and magazines. That's it. That is it. All he
Hey,
knows.
there's good money in butt plugs from what I hear. Well, let's
Well,
not get into that.
He paid enough to buy Mo Kudas, so you know what I mean. Like, all I have to him, but I don't want these fucking vibrators at my football club anymore. Take them and go.
But
Yeah,
I've seen this
random
story
one.
so often, you know,
Yeah.
with Potter, managers in Potter's position when they've had such a horrible. I know you can't judge him, but he has had a horrible time of it so far, results wise. If he does get off to a bad start, he's under immediate serious pressure, is he not?
Is he? I don't know.
Do you don't think so?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even. No, I don't think so. I think West Ham kind of accept the reality. Listen, like when you're on that trajectory and then you fall off, there's like 19 other clubs that are still on the rise right now. You know, if everything like ebbs and flows, it's not linear, right? So I think it was smart for West Ham to realize, you know what, maybe for the next 2 seasons, we're not going to do much. But what we're going to do is we're going to hire a project guy. Look what Potter did with Brighton when he was with them for like 4 years. He created the platforms in which De Zerbi and Hertzler could take over and really have Brighton being a top 10 team. I mean, it was only like 2 years ago that Brighton hit top 10 for the first time in their entire history as a football club, right? And Graham Potter did that foundational work to make a lot of things happen. So I think the goal is respectable season. Try and maybe limit like a thrashing to like 2-3 per season. Become a very hard team to play against. You know what I mean? Gain respect that way and then slowly build. You know, that's the Brentford route. That's like the Fulham route last season, the Crystal Palace one. I think that's what West Ham kind of have to build a bit. And I think long term it's all right with Portland. But
what gives me hope is when you look at an Aston Villa, where they came from to where they ended with the right appointment. With the right appointment at the right time. Yeah. Gerrard threatened relegation. They went from that to qualifying for the Conference League with the right appointment at the right time, then on to the Champions League twice. So, oh no, what it was once. Sorry, I apologise, but it was from relegation, right appointment, right players in. Now, would anyone turn around and say if I turn around and said Aston Villa are going to be qualified, challenging for the Champions League, is anyone really going to sit there and go, no, I don't think so? Not really. You know what I mean? So it just shows you what one appointment can do. You know. From majority, it didn't have different players. It just adjusted the system. And I think that's what Potter will be good at. He will adjust the system to what he's got in his team.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't think he was going to get that. Paquetá had all of that stuff over him last season with the betting. We never got the best out of him. Kudus just decided he didn't want to turn up. We never got the best out of him. Antonio, unfortunately, he died in a car crash. We didn't have him. He's normally a reliable player for us. You know what I mean? Somerville got injured. I think he was just about to find his form as well. You know, you talk about Spurs injuries. West Ham had a lot of injuries. You know, a couple of centre-back injuries. We had to play Mavropanos. I'd rather play Lee at centre-back, and that's no disrespect, Lee. I'm sorry, but as a top-level footballer, it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. So.
You know, I hear what you're saying. I just feel like with how he's been so far at West Ham, with the results he's had, if come November time, December time, you're like lower mid-table, I just think, will West Ham panic? Will they think this isn't the right guy? You quote what he did at Brighton, but at the end of the day, his last job was Chelsea. He was hired mid-season and was sacked mid-season as well.
And West Ham are two different things, right? It's not the same.
Sir?
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I just don't agree with the question that we got to put on this imaginary pressure on the West Ham. I just think, listen, I mean, you have a bad season like last season. You just need to kind of build the foundations again right now and grow, right? I think that's what they're doing. Graham Potter's planting the seed to try and bring a bit of like, you know, healthiness back to the club again. You know what I mean? I just
feel like I've got this feeling come November, December time, like if he's not doing great and Marco Silva's, flooding his eyes at West Ham, would they jump ship at like Marco Silva if he's available? I got a feeling that could be a reality. That kind of thing.
I'll tell you what, maybe.
And we'll end it here. If he does do that by December, it won't be a Marco Silva. It'll be more like a Sean Dyche. That's the direction it goes down. There we go.